want to talk about?
Wrestling. Wrestling is good.
Why do you do that?
Oh.
Why not?
It's fake.
Wrestling's not fake!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Can y'all hear? Oh, I guess so. Can y'all hear me out there? Hello? Hello? Oh. Hello. There we go. Y'all might be able to hear me, but I couldn't hear me. So anyway, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ronald right here, your boy with a cornbread accent. Welcome you to Spot Show live stream. Yes, today is a Thursday, the 15th of May. Man, this year is going by pretty quickly. Let's see, where should we start today? What's up, Joe King? Let's do the usual thing here. I'm kind of, as you see, I am on location again in Albany, Georgia. Sorry, I can't think of any kind of snappy little, quirky little nicknames for it, but I am in Albany, Georgia tonight. We'll be back on tomorrow. Thank goodness. Well, what's up, Joe? I can't really see what you're. Oh, there you go. What's up? Anyway, what's up, everybody? Glad you can join me here. And I am also, I think I am. Yes, I am on Facebook Live as well. So if you're not joining me on YouTube, join me on Facebook Live. All is invited. We would talk about the sport of professional wrestling. This show, of course, deals with more of the current stuff. Before I get started on everything, you know what we got to do. We got the obligatory. This is Southern Assembly. It's in the contract. Gotta say this. If you're enjoying this live stream, click the like button. Also, leave a comment. Like I said, I'm live in a living color. So join me in the chat on YouTube or Facebook Live. Hit me up with your comments. If you're not watching this live, you watch the replay. Still, hit me up with some comments and those like buttons. If you don't follow me on Facebook, get on over to Facebook. Follow me there. If you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, definitely head over there. Click that subscribe button. It's definitely helps things to grow. Because I think I have single digit numbers on my on my 2 videos this week. It's weird how that happens. Like 1 week it'll be have a bunch of views, and then I'll do like 2-3 weeks, bunch of views, and another week like nothing, like ghost town. I thought usually it's my worst videos. It's the one where I'm like clustered all over the place, and those are the worst ones, and I get like tons of views on them. But the ones where I'm like, hey, yeah, this one didn't turn out to that, which to be honest, I don't really edit it that much. It's just one shot go on everything. But sometimes it's like, the videos where I'm like I'll to start off tonight, like, hey everybody. Those are the ones I get the most views on. So I'm pretty sure. But yeah, if you don't want to comment on anything I talk about tonight, just give me a friendly hello as well, or a what's up. Uh, anyway, hopefully everybody's having a good week, ready for the weekend. Um, other than that, let's get the show going because, like I said, I am on Facebook Live. I am in a hotel room, so if you think sometimes my stuff at home can get jittery, stuff in the hotel, can y'all see me good? Hear me good? If so, we're gonna keep it rolling here. I sound good through the headphones. Am I loud enough out there? Should be. It's all the way over yonder there. Anyway, we do start off this week's spot show on a sad note. Definitely a legend, uh, a pioneer, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, definitely a legend. I remember again in the early '90s. I was in high school. Um, and still getting the magazines and everything, and kept reading about this guy uh, named Sabu. And kept reading about him, kept hearing about the crazy stuff he does, and how basically, along with him, it's hearing the name Sabu with ECW is just synonymous. I mean, they're kind of like, especially at that time, glued to each other. Um, anytime you hear about ECW, you hear about Sabu, who came in, or who came in this month to wrestle Sabu, or then you hear about the crazy things. These, doing moonsaults through tables and stuff like that you didn't see at that time. I mean, it's you know uh, a moonsault a moonsault period is just as common as an arm drag now. For this session, about three people now use the finishers. Io Sky, Tiffany Stratton, and Jacob Fatu. I think they're the ones right now that's used it as a finisher. But like I said, and you seen the pictures, he's sitting there on the top rope, about to do a flip over the, outside the ring. And like I said, a lot of those things did not happen at that time. You might have seen Tiger Mask or the Mask Nightmares or regular Nightmares, Ken Wayne and Danny Davis do suicide dives. Um, he's seen Muda come in, Flying Brian, but like I said, not like Sabu did. I mean, Sabu was just doing everything. And I forgot to put my phone on. Sorry, folks. Or not put the phone off. Put the volume down. What I'm going to do right now. But like I said, it's like, man, can't wait to see this guy. Can't wait to see this guy. And hello, Karen Poole. Um, like I said, kept reading the magazines. Then finally, uh, there was a falling out. Uh, Sabu was one half of the tag team champions in ECW, and this was around 90, yeah, about um, 95 ish. Yeah, about 95. Um, I guess there was a little bit of falling out. I think basically New Japan was offering more money. I think it was New Japan was offering more money to come wrestle there on one night, and he basically got double booked. That's it. I guess you want to call it. And of course, Sabu, I think he said, hey, don't book it that night. I already got a deal to go to Japan. One of those deals. Might have been a miscommunication or it might have been just a money deal. But he decided to take the Japan money, which was more money. And that's the night Paul Heyman, Paulie Dangerously, publicly fired Sabu. Then he went to WCW, so we finally got to see Sabu on WCW. Went up against Alex Wright, I believe. Uh, was a decent match. He won the match, but his thing was he put people through tables, so he put Alex Wright through a table. I think was it that one where it was like the entrance way. He had Alex Wright on the table, went to the top rope and kind of did a flip, you know, like a senton flip, and landed on Alex Wright, put him through the table, and like I said, the referee reversed the decision because can't really do that in WCW. So wrestled. I mean, he was there for like a cup of coffee. Went back to Japan. Then November of '95, he went back to ECW at their November to November show, and then rest is history there. Stay there. Had this incredible program with him and Taz. Taz turned heel, and he kept calling Sabu out. But the storyline was Sabu made a promise not to touch Taz. But that all ended at the first pay-per-view, ECW pay-per-view, Barely Legal. They finally had their one-on-one match. Taz won. And at the time, Taz was being managed by Bill Alfonso. Bill Alfonso turned heel. Sabu did as well as like a double turn there. Taz went babyface. Sabu and Bill Alfonso turned heel. He had already had his program with Rob Van Dam. The whole respect thing. See, it's little bitty storylines. It didn't have to be drawn out or anything. Just little things like that made it to a big deal. So him and Van Dam, the team being a tag team, won the ECW tag team titles numerous times. And he actually won. What year was it again? I do remember the tape. It was the Born to Be Wired tape of ECW, and that's how I get. See, this for internet stuff like that. A lot of people do the tape trading things, so that's how he got popular. I remember I had one. I had a best of Sabu. Um, I get off subject way too much. Anyway, let's go back. He won his second world title against Terry Funk. Because Terry Funk won it at Barely Legal. But they had this, good gosh, this brutal, brutal. I mean, they were just tangled up in barbed wire to each other. And this was a barbed wire match against the title Born to Be Wired. Sabu defeated Terry Funk and became a two-time ECW World Champion at that event. But like I said, I had one. I think it was I want to say Volume 1, Best of Sabu. And he had and people. It's kind of funny because everybody's like, well, nobody's ever really heard Sabu talk. It's like, well, not exactly. Yeah, yeah. He also had a match against the mysterious Mr. JL. Never figured out who JL was. Just kidding. It was Jerry Lynn. Yeah, that highly creative minds there. Here, we're gonna put you in a mask. What should we name you? How about just Mr. JL? It's like, okay. Anyway, yeah. I think he had a match with him. I think he had one more match with maybe Disco Inferno or something. But like I said, was basically a mainstay at ECW. If you're gonna put a Mount Rushmore of ECW people, you've got to put Sabu there. Definitely Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, Shane Douglas. Maybe, well, yeah, maybe Taz or Rob Van Dam, but definitely those three. I believe. Um, see, I'll always these Mount Rushmore people, or Mount Rushmore or whatever. Picking the first three is pretty easy, but the fourth one it can be kind of hard. But but yeah, like I said, as far as ECW, yeah, he deserves to be on the ECW Mount Rushmore. Um, then unfortunately ECW closed. Uh, wrestled for World Wrestling All Stars, wrestled for the NWA, became NWA World Champion. I think he won that on a couple different occasions. Uh, TNA may stop there because they had their uh, ECW resurgence type reunions there. Um, then WWE decided to do an ECW one night stand. They decided to finally cash in. They uh, made a rise and fall video documentary on ECW. Then they did a pay per view one night only, and obviously that took off because they had a one night only again, and that's when they decided, hey, we're gonna relaunch ECW and they had it on the station, had it on the Sci-Fi Network. Unfortunately, it wasn't the ECW we grew to love. It was I don't recommend really you watching that ECW and thinking it was real ECW. Um, it was a good launching pad for CM Punk and maybe a couple others, but yeah, please do not watch that. Think it was like the real ECW. But how over ECW was, I mean, you can always state a claim that if it wasn't for their just grounded storylines, I mean, because they made a storyline about Raven and Tommy Dreamer, where they were friends in summer camp, and brought in Beulah McGillicuddy, who was, during that time at the summer camp was the, ugly chick that, she wanted Tommy Dreamer, but Tommy Dreamer didn't want her because he was kind of the jock, and Raven was, Raven, but Raven hooked up with her and all that good stuff. And when they brought Beulah out, so many years later, she was. Did y'all know Beulah McGillicuddy used to date Ron Gant? Ron Gant, former player for the Atlanta Braves, outfielder. Um, yeah, I don't know what size T-shirts he wore, but uh, he's a big guy, and I ain't talking fat. He was like chiseled, big. But I digress on that situation. But then, of course, as you know, the WWE CW went up under it, and he pretty much floundered through the independents and TNA. Probably made his last final national appearance on All Elite Wrestling, being a special guest enforcer in the match between Adam Cole, Chris Jericho at Double or Nothing in 2023. And I might be able to watch this year's Double or Nothing pay per view. I think it's next week. And recently on April 18th, he wrestled his last match against Joey Janela for Game Changer Wrestling. Not a huge fan of that promotion, but never was. That's the reason. I mean, I don't. That's one of those I don't really talk about unless it needs to be talked about. Um, I would avoid talking about that one because Um, but I think they finally he wound up passing away on let's see, I guess they announced it on Sunday I believe he passed away. And now I think they finally said that he passed away from a heart attack. A lot of hmm, a lot of controversy about the final match. I just leave it. If you want to read about that, go read about it, and you know, do with that information as you will. Maybe I want to talk about Sabu, the performer. Got to did get to see him wrestle a couple times live, both at ECW. So at the WrestlePalooza '97, I think it was. It was in Marietta. Him and Rob Van Dam had the best match they could have. I think Sabu got a little sick on I blame the Arby's. Uh, that's the reason it took almost 10 years, I think, before I ate Arby's again. But it wasn't like I frequently eat ate at Arby's again before that, so it wasn't like I was like, "Ooh, I can't eat Arby's again after that." But then there was like a house show they did. He wrestled on that, and I think another TV taping in Duluth, Georgia. He wrestled that, so yeah. Um, we could have met him in Monroe. Why do we miss that? I think we were more faithful to the Cornelia territory. That's what I'm thinking. They might have a show the same night, and we went to that instead. Check here and everything. I don't think I have comments or anything. But yep, and that was basically the my little history of Sabu. Like I said, uh, it was funny when after ECW went under, they did these documentaries about ECW, and one of them was Hardcore Forever. Uh, and he also did a sheer interview with RF Video, but he did an interview with RF Video. It's like, oh, Sabu talks, Sabu talks. Well, I already heard him talk one time, sort of. Because if you go see, or you can pull up on YouTube probably. There's a match he had with Hayabusa. Oh, kick ass match. If you do like that hardcore flipping, flying stuff like that, uh, gosh, I'd say check out anything with Hayabusa. That dude does not get mentioned enough. Unfortunately, um, he wound up being paralyzed and all that, and passed away few years ago. But he had a match in FMW against Hayabusa, and I forgot what happened, but you can hear him like the whole time going, my back, my back, oh my back, oh my back. Uh, I have to rewatch it. I probably if I watch it, you probably tell the move that hurt his back. But I mean, I think he either hit the edge of the table or hit the edge of a guardrail or something like that. But it was still a good match. I recommend after this, go on YouTube and check out Hayabusa versus Sabu. Or check out just about any Sabu match or Hayabusa match. Hayabusa, I thought he was awesome. definitely does not get talked about enough about how revolutionary he was. I mean, if you love the Will Ospreay, Ricochet, high risk maneuvers clips, I would say check that out. Hold on one second, folks. Let me grab a drink. Hold on one second. All right, folks, I'm back. Yeah, the WWE they got to cut some promos because that's part of their business too. Gotta be able to cut those promos, kid. But like I said all week, condolences go out to the friends and family of Terry Terrence Brunk, or otherwise known as Sabu. Yeah, I forgot to mention he was trained. He was the nephew of the original Sheik at Farhat. And that's who trained him. That's who trained Rob Van Dam. Um, and I did watch All Elite last night. Um, and then Taz, did a pretty good, I guess, tribute speech about Sabu, because they were heated rivals for a long time, tag team partners. Um, even back when he was known as the Tasmaniac. Uh, like I said, um, definitely one of the guys that, again, should be in the Hall of Fame. Uh, any Hall of Fame, I guess you don't call it, since he did work for WWE. Unfortunately, he might get that might get put in too late. Don't get me started on that, because you'll get me started on the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Um, I know this ain't baseball, but Major League Baseball, I guess it's better to be late than not do it at all. So should have done it years ago. It is what it is. Anyway, rest in peace, Sabu. All right. This past weekend, we had the Backlash Premium Live event. Almost said pay per view again, didn't I? And like I said, I did a, believe it or not, yes, I did. Go check it out after this video or after this live stream. I did a recap of this year's Backlash. And like I said on that one, the backlashes, um, what else is there? Fast lanes, uh, even Hell in a Cell premium live event. I I go in those with like low expectations. Uh, Not low like they're gonna be bad, but low like I know this is pretty much a glorified Raw or SmackDown. So uh, you keep those expectations high when you watch WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble. Uh, you know, what's this? That's the WrestleMania. Used to be King of the Ring, but they don't have those no more. But you get what I'm saying. But this wasn't a bad premium live event. I thought it was solid for what it is. The matches were solid. Can't really say nothing bad about that. Of course, this is just my opinion. So let's get into it. Where's my note? Oops, wrong one. So the first match, and we got a holy shite moment here in this match. It was Jacob Fatu defending his United States Championship against LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre in a fatal 4-way. And we got our holy shite moment right at the end. Dang it. What does it say again? Let's see. Our Peacock subscription ran out last week before the show. Your sister says she wasn't paying $80 to renew it, so I missed it. Well, damn. Well, you should have paid the $80 in. So nobody's chatting on that one yet. Well, like I said, it was solid, not too bad. But yeah, like I said, at the end of the first match with Jacob Fatu, uh, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, they pretty much knocked each other out when Damian Priest did the South of Heaven choke slam from a production box to a table. That left LA Knight and Jacob Fatu by themselves. Looked like LA Knight was going to deliver a possible elbow drop or something like that from the apron to the table. That's when Solo Sikoa came in and pulled Jacob off the table. When LA Knight was trying to get, sort things out, he got attacked by Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb, he finally made his WWE debut. Helped Jacob Fatu defend his championship. Jacob looked pretty confused at the time. It's like, okay, what the hell is he doing here? But nevertheless, he took care of business. Hit the hip attack into the triple jump moonsault for the win. Like I said, pretty solid opener. Those poor guys, they can go. I mean, pretty much know that was going to be a good match unless everybody just felt sick. The next match was for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. The champion, Lyra Valkyrie, defended against Becky Lynch. Basically, they had a series of roll-up near falls with Lyra Valkyrie winning out on that one, getting a 1, 2, 3. then Becky Lynch snapped and beat the crap out of her. So, but Laura does keep the championship. She got the 1, 2, 3. Then I don't know if anybody got to see Raw Monday. Becky Lynch, I thought was a heck of a promo. I kind of popped to it. Basically saying that it was kind of like a F you to the fans. Hopefully, mostly the internet wrestling fans, but the ones that like look this type up stupid crap. But not in exact same words, but it's like you fans were there with me, cheering me on until I got successful. We thought we were labeled to each other until again she got successful. Then they kind of started trashing her, and that's because you people don't know how. You are all losers, basically, and do not know how to be successful. So I do not relate to you. So you kind of crap on me. So now all those girls in the back's going to be just going to know how it feels to be held down by the man. Of course, Becky Lynch calls herself the man. So I say that's going to be pretty interesting. I think taking I won't say real world or just taking what's kind of happened on the as far as I think it's just the comments and stuff like that. Me, I try to just call it like I see it. Like I said, if half those internet wrestling fans who type in their comments on social media and stuff like that, they might totally hate me because I think Charlotte Flair's great. I think Becky Lynch is really good. Everybody talks about, hey, how do you rank the 4 horsewomen? It's like, okay, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. And I think Sasha Banks is good. It's just, I don't think she's as good as Bayley, as good as Becky, and nowhere near as good as Charlotte Flair, my opinion. So that being said, I really popped on this promo. It's definitely going to be interesting, or it's got potential to be interesting, if that makes sense. Whoop whoop, El Juggalo. El Juggalo. Super Magic Ninja, what? Super Magic, what? Yeah, was it okay? Yeah, was it Sabu and was Sabu and Big Money Hustlers or Roughless? Roughless. No, there's a whole. It might have been Rustlers because there was like a. Yeah, that big time Bex thing. And that really wasn't. Um, I guess that was kind of her being another character, I guess. But now she's uh so now you got the man Becky Lynch. It was basically almost like a Die Rocky Die promo or or Rocky Maivia turned into basically the Rock and told the fans to F you. And this is before the internet. Well, before the internet was huge. It was getting there. Basically, you got on the internet to maybe get the spoilers. But they were like fans at the arena saying "Die Rocky Die" and booed the Rock and everything else. But yeah, like I said, hmm, yeah, which one was it? Was it Big Money? And I'm ashamed to say this, but I have seen both those movies. Uh, I hate to admit that, but well, I know Mick Foley did the first one. He made a cameo on the first one, and there was a bunch of cameos in Big Money Hustlers. Anyway, let's get back to back. I'll go back to talking to the Juggalo. El Juggalo. All right. Let's see. Third match, we had a match for the Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio against Penta. Speaking of El people, we seen the appearance of El Grande Americana. He gave Penta that deadly headbutt when the referee was distracted by everybody. That gave Dominic Mysterio the opportunity to hit the frog splash. 1, 2, 3. Still, your Intercontinental Champion is Dominic Mysterio. I guess I could do this. And I got pictures here for a reason. Dang. Oh boy. Then you had Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Gunther won by technical submission. Um, Gunther let him have a little bit, not much, not much at all. He got some of those punt kicks in, and to Pat McAfee's credit, he took those chops. Uh, and they weren't ginger chops. I mean, Gunther took Pat McAfee's chops, and then Pat took Gunther's chops, and he showed those welts. I think either X or one of those. I think I seen on Facebook or something like that where he showed pictures of the uh, chopping, basically his handprints on currently embedded in the Pat McAfee's chest. But um, of course, Pat McAfee won that one. Then for your main event, you had Randy Orton challenging John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. Um, had a couple of ref bumps. Uh, then Randy Orton was about to hit that pump kick on John Cena. That's when R-Truth came in and cut Randy off at the pass and said, "Oh, don't do it. He's my childhood hero." Well, poor R-Truth got a RKO for it. Then, as Randy Orton was chastising him, John Cena came back, hit Randy Orton in the elbows, then hit him with a belt. 1, 2, 3. John Cena keeps the undisputed championship. So, like I said, did I really expect a big splash or anything like that? Yeah, no, not really. I mean, the next premium live event is going to be interesting, I think. Um, I think you got Saturday night's main event. Then you have Money in the Bank. The Money in the Bank premium live event. And they're usually pretty decent. Those matches are okay. Um, and definitely you'll get a prediction on that when everything kind of settles down or the card gets finalized. I can't tell you who I think is going to maybe win one or the other. I have no clue, but should be pretty interesting. Like I said, those money banks can get pretty interesting, I believe. But other than that, so who's ready to have a little bit of fun? Now, I do not have, hold on one second. I told everybody to get a piece of paper or something to write with. Of course, I didn't. Let me see if I can find something. I actually did find something. I have a business card and a pencil. Hopefully, right. So, I guess Vince Russo made a little list here, and hopefully y'all can see it on that screen. I got me another picture right here. I can kind of blow up on my own if I can read it. So I need glasses, but I haven't quite got them yet. But he sent this little, I guess, tweet. I don't know. I guess they still call them tweets on X. This list of Euromark F. Um, so I say let's have a little fun with this. Let's test each other. So whenever y'all ready to test it, every time I name something on this list and that fits you, just put a marker on a piece of paper. Then we will, we will write the score down after we're finished. So if everybody's ready, I'll start here reading the list. Oh, where's the list at? This ain't the Jericho list. This is the list of uh, Euromark if. Now I'm not now. Like I said, I don't know if it's for this purpose. We're just gonna mark if any of these are yours or fits you, and if you, I guess, score high, then hey, you could be a freaking mark. I don't know if I'll say my 2 cents about Vince Russo after the list. But like I said, one of these marks you, and if you score pretty high on this, then hey, you could be a mark. If you score low on this, I guess you're not so much of a mark. So, are we ready? Let's go. So, you're a mark if, okay, for the first one, you have convinced yourself that professional wrestling is real. Sorry. Uh, no, I mean, in layman's terms, no, that doesn't fit me. But if that fits you, hey, give yourself a mark. No pun intended. Okay. So, statement number 2 here. Professional wrestling is the most important thing in your entire life. Well, let's see. entertained by it. I get entertained by other things. I won't say this the most important part. Uh, as a fan, I think it's as far as my entertainment, it's my probably go-to entertainment. But I don't think it's the most important thing in my life. But if it's the most important thing in your life, hey, I mean, we're not judging here. I'm not judging. If this is you, mark it down. Uh, go for it. Okay. Let's see. Next one. You own a lot of black t-shirts with pit stains. Can't say I do that. I don't know if I do. I don't know. I think there's any pit stains here. Okay. You don't just want to go to a wrestling show. Do you want to be part of it? Need some more clarification on that one too. Yeah, mark for a mark. There you go. I like going to wrestling shows. But oh well. Okay, you sing along with the wrestlers' theme songs at the top of your lungs. Well, I wouldn't say it's on top of my lungs, but if I'm at a show, you know what? I'll give myself a mark on this one. Because if you ask anybody who knows me, I put a lot of emphasis on interest music. One of my favorite things besides the match and storylines is interest music. You have interest music. So say if I was at we did it before. AEW came to Julius, Georgia. Chris Jericho came out. That's when he was coming out to the Judas song. Everybody was singing it. I was singing it. Probably not. I won't say it top of my lungs, but I was singing it because I'm a bad singer. I did sing it top of my lungs. I don't think anybody ears would like that. So yes, I did these sing along. So okay. Dave Meltzer is your god. Definitely not there. Work rate and fake wrestling matches is important to you. You know what? Should it be a little bit? I mean, you can't be a bumbling, fool. Um, you got to be at least able to work some to be in the majors. To be entertained, I guess, in a wrestling match. I mean, I've seen Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns ain't gonna do 25 freaking moves in his matches. He's a brawler, punch, kick, type wrestler, whatever. But some of his matches have been really solid. I know that a lot of people hate to admit that, but a lot of his matches are pretty solid. Now, is he going to go out there and do a bunch of flips like Will Ospreay? No. But is it movies fake? Are you going to sit there and be entertained by entertained in a movie where a bunch of really bad acting? I'm talking about horrible acting. I'm not talking like 80s slasher movies type, because at least there's some entertainment factor to that. I'm talking about that B budget, horrible, really bad acting movie. Are you really going to be entertained by that? So you want some decent acting in it. So therefore, acting, work rate kind of goes hand in hand on a fake wrestling matches. So just for the hell of it, I'm gonna give my mark another mark. I don't know if cheering counts. It's like I said that when Chris Jericho come out to Judas and everybody was singing the song, and now it's kind of carried on to other people, like the whoa or or any whoa anything. Uh, that's the I mean that's kind of a given, but okay. You hate any form of entertainment in your wrestling. No, I can't give myself on that one. I was entertained by the Sami Zayn, uh, Johnny Knoxville Jackass match. That was kind of entertaining. Um, Michael Hayes thought he was a rock and roll singer, and that's another form of entertainment, and he was entertaining. Uh, Stone Cold Steve Austin, his promos were pretty entertaining. So, and like I said, we already talked about the music thing. So, aren't you entertained by music? So, what if you like it? Would you sing along with your favorite interest music? But how would be on the mark be you hate any form of entertainment though? Kind of contradicts itself, if you ask me. So can't say I do that. You orgasm over Japanese wrestling? No, that's just a flat out no. You opposed to seeing attractive women in wrestling? Okay, I am a straight male. I have no problem seeing attractive women in wrestling. Um, I don't think women got any opposition to seeing attractive women in wrestling. Um, I only think gay men, you know, all women, straight or gay, all men, straight or gay, who watch wrestling. I don't think too many of them oppose attractive women in wrestling. I know you have your little internet marks or internet wrestling. I call it marks. Sorry. Internet wrestling community who are just most of those are just trolls, but I don't, I'm from one. Okay, as far as this list and first, or there's far as I'm considered, as far as I'm considered, I do not oppose attractive women in wrestling. I come from the '80s. Missy Hyatt, Precious, Sunny, Francine, uh, Sable, uh, Jacqueline. I thought she was kind of attractive. Um, uh, the whole Divas era. I mean, Michelle McCool, uh, Candice Michelle. Did I say that right? The Bella Twins. That now you got um, Nicholas can be attractive sometimes. Pretty attractive. Bailey. Uh, I think Lyra Bacteria. She's kind of cute. Io Sky. She's attractive. I think. And who doesn't think uh, Real Ripley, I mean, attractive. I mean, I don't like all that tattoos, but it just works for her, I guess. Um, Maybe I don't find that part of her attractive, but she's still a pretty attractive lady, even with. I mean, she's a pro wrestler, but uh, yeah, uh, you got me. I can't put a mark on myself on the opposed to attractive women. Um, now, who's he calling attractive? Is it the fake blonde, fake idiot like Sable was during his little booking era? Is that the only women he finds attractive? Who knows? Okay, this obviously is not me. And yes, I will admit, right there's my picture right there on the corner. Um, you walk around the arena with a championship belt over your shoulder. Definitely not me, but I will admit, I laugh at that. I really do. Russo's got a point. Now, granted, yeah, I do laugh at it, but a lot of times I see there's autographs and stuff like that signed on the belt. So therefore, I mean, I wouldn't carry around my shoulder, put around my waist, walk around like I was a champion. If I had like a championship belt, I would go like to autograph signings and see if I can get as many as wrestlers I could to sign that belt. Or, say if I went to say if I had a good replica or something like the old NWA United States belt from like 86, like, yeah, 85, 86, 87. um, and I seen like Man MTA, Tully Blanchard, Nikita Koloff, Lex Luger, Barry Windham at this convention. I would want all those. I would want all those guys on that belt because they held, well, not that exact belt, but they held that style United States Championship belt. So yes, I do laugh, but sometimes sometimes I think it'd be cool to have one to get a bunch of them autographed. But yeah, I kind of do laugh sometimes when I see people walk around with championship belts. Not kids, grown people. Um, I got okay. On that note, give a mark to yourself if you can afford one. Let's see. You rent space rent free in your mom's basement. No. You're part of the tribe that loves one wrestling brand and hates the other brand. No. You hate Vince Russo. Don't say I hate Vince Russo. Let's just say I'm not a fan of Vince Russo, but I will put a mark myself on that one. All right. Let's see. You honestly believe Triple H or Tony Khan are true bookers of the year? Okay. Oh, let's get one. If you're offended if anyone refers to you as a mark, nah. Uh, you honestly believe Triple H or Tony Khan are true bookers of the year? Did somebody give them the reward? do they have a plaque that says Bookers of the Year? I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that one. So, let's see. You cried when Cody Rhodes finished the story and beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. No, I didn't cry, but I popped. Okay, you make every excuse in your book when your brand's ratings is down for the week. Nope, that's not me either. Man, so before I dissect this a little bit, um, my score, I'm not a good mark. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm, let's see. If I could afford one, I would, and I would strut to my seat like Slick Rick. I wouldn't. And don't get me wrong. If I could get some of those replica belt or some, if I can get some really good authentic ones, like I said, if I could afford the really good authentic ones, I would, and just kind of collect them. But it's part of me is like, ain't like I want them or anything. But a nice little collection won't be um. And of course, I'm cheap too. If I could afford one, I probably wouldn't buy one. I'm bad about that. So anyway, like I said, I want to dissect this one a little bit. Basically, here's the deal, Vince Russo. Okay. Um, you are just like any other person uh, that doesn't understand fandom. You got your fandoms in movies, you got fandoms in video games, you got fandoms in comic books, and you got fandom in wrestling and pro wrestling. Now, okay, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments later if you watch this later. How many of you folks watched The Walking Dead? I watched The Walking Dead, or did watch The Walking Dead at one point. This is or let's do The Walking Dead. I forgot what season it was, but when Carol's, I mean, even though you knew it when you were seeing it, you knew it was going to happen when they went into that barn and that door opened for the last. You seen a figure start walking toward the door. You knew who it was, and when it opened the door and you seen it was Carol's daughter. Like I said, I'm talking to those people who were, I want to say, ride or die Walking Dead fans. Like, was really into the show. Yeah, you really love the show. You got emotionally, invested. I guess if you call it that, in the characters. But once that little, if you weren't emotionally invested in that show, and a lot of people were, and you seen Carol's daughter walk out of that barn, he was like, dude, I mean, even me, I didn't cry. I was like, oh no, even me, I was like, no, please don't, please, even though you knew it was. He was like, no, 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 not her daughter, not her daughter. Please don't let her. Okay, if it's her daughter, please don't let her be a zombie. And of course, she came out and she was a zombie or a walker, um, and they had to do the deed, you know. Uh, and you're a fan of the show. Carol was one of the popular people on that show, because that character, that character's been through a lot. Crappy husband, and now her, they basically her daughter died. You know, was became a zombie anyway. But I mean, and you see her tear up and stuff like that. You're like, oh, I wouldn't say. I mean, if you cried on that, there was people who cried when Old Yeller died. Um, that's an old movie. Some of you people are not going to know that. Another instinct. You remember when the Marvel movies were good? You had the Infinity War saga and Endgame, and that last scene where not the last scene, but the scene where Tony snaps his finger and he's sitting there and everybody's kind of gathering around him and stuff like that. I remember seeing that movie. I've seen it. I've seen that movie twice in the theater. The weekend it came out, and I think 2 weeks after that with another friend. And both times, the whole theater got silent because, for like a decade, people got. I mean, it told, I think, probably one of the best cinematic stories as far as any kind of movie, not trilogies, but sagas. That you. I mean, it had a fair share of plot holes, but every character, just about, especially Tony Stark, especially Steve Rogers, Captain America, the real Captain America, Steve Rogers, the real Iron Man, Tony Stark. Uh, Gosh, even Natasha, um, and all those folks, or not all of them, but a lot, especially the main ones. Um, and people were saddened about the with Natasha. Hopefully everybody's watching this already seen the movie. But um, but yeah. So once that light dimmed on his chest, um, like I said, the whole theater went silent. Super Crunk Skunk. Good evening. Good evening, Super Crunk Skunk. Are you a mark? Did you miss my mark test? But so yeah, you had this thing where people were uh, very much kind of attached to it, and even though they know it was fake, it was a movie, or like I said, The Walking Dead TV show. You still get a little. It's kind of like a sports team is real. People cry when their sports teams win a championship and all that stuff. It's like, why cry over that? Um, I mean, me personally, I'll pop when the Braves win the World Series, or when they won the 2 times they did win a World Series, I'll pop for it. Um, I was happy when Atlanta United won their MLS Cup, even though I'm not a big soccer fan and stuff like that. When I read they won, I was like, oh, cool, at least they won. Um, More happy for my friends who are soccer fans, but so, but here's the problem though. I get the fact that you do not understand. I mean, this probably was really really why you weren't really a good booker or a good writer unless Vince McMahon was over your shoulder because you didn't understand the fandom of the entertainment you were writing. That's why you suck. Obviously, you forgot one thing, though. I mean, you sort of said it here, but this should have been on Vince Russo's list as well. If you get an opportunity to book a company or write for a company, be the head writer, you make yourself a TV star and put the world belt on you. Even though you probably couldn't whip a wet paper bag or couldn't whip anybody in the locker room. That includes referees. You put the, obviously he forgot to mention that part as far as marks in a fake sport. If it's so fake, why'd you have to make yourself a star and put the title onto yourself? Because you want to be a star in something. But this is part of why entertainment is in a flux right now, especially like movies and TV and it's like video games are suffering too, because the people who are writing the stories for that entertainment do not understand the fandom. If you understood the fandom a little bit, you could write a good story or a story good enough to where you won't get those fans of that product. It's like the superhero movies. I remember when the X-Men was about to come out, the very first X-Men movie. People like that movie. Normal people and comic book fans both like that movie. The biggest gripe of that movie was Wolverine didn't have his usual comic book accurate gear on. And they kind of made a joke about that in the movie too. When Wolverine was in the bag, I said, "Y'all actually wear these things?" And Cyclops said, "We were expecting yellow tights." But there was enough of the characters and the comic book aspect that they were able to write a good story and a piece to not only the fans of the comic books, but normal fans who probably knew of them, but wasn't like didn't read or read comic book issue 1 of the X-Men. And that's why some of those movies kind of stuck down, because people they got writing for them, TV and movies, like they try to push the stuff that failed onto these people and not even caring about a story or a good enough story to appease these people, which, like, I know it has nothing to do with wrestling, but in my opinion, if you're going to be a writer for any entertainment, wrestling, you got to at least, I don't think you have to be a diehard fan, but at least understand the fandom and what gets most attention especially the fans' eyes. Now, are you going to hit a home run every time? No. Is everybody going to like every aspect of what's going on? No. But at least get it to the point to where, okay, they like having these great matches. But I'm trying to write storylines for TV, keep it grounded, but make sure I don't lose the fan. And see, like I said, the only time Vince Russo was a great writer, book, or whatever is when you had Vince McMahon over his shoulder and said, okay, that might work. Now, was there a lot of BS or, attitude there? Yeah. But it wasn't to the point to where it really alienated the large portion of fans. it probably alienated. Again, you could sometimes when you start going up a level and stuff like that, you do. Um, but I think at some point during the Attitude Era, especially with Steve Austin and all that, I think the WWF, and especially right there, like late, or I say 89, 90, and of course the steroids, that scandal thing at the time, kind of hurt, hurt all wrestling at that time. Um, but one thing that hurt was the ding dongs and the hunchbacks. They was trying to do in WCW. Then WWF was having to clown, going to clown, even though you kind of go back and look at it, it's like, kind of good character. At that time, I was like, what the hell is this? The plumber, the Mounties, um, the Dusty Rhodes and Polka Dot. The Akeem, the African Dreams, and all that. It kind of, you know, that part alienated a lot of, old school wrestling fans, grown up wrestling fans. Uh, but let's be honest, at that portion, they was trying to target the kids as much as possible. But I know that when they went back to the Attitude Era, that had Steve Austin and stuff like that, and kind of like, hey, we're really, or make it seem like we're, a little hotter edge here. You got some of those older fans that come back. Stuff like that. That's one thing I did notice about the Attitude Era. It's like, yeah, some of it was BS. And some of it, they weren't opposed to the half naked girls, but, they adapted. They're like, this ain't what I grew up with, but I can adapt to this. So, but you had other people there who, like I said, especially right now, it's like I said, this is my opinion. You don't have to be 100%, at least understand how fans would feel about things. Because do you have to have a revamped Rock and Roll Express? Prime example. Rock and Roll Express, rockers, all them, bandanas, everything. Attitude Era, had the Hardys. And I would always, especially at that time, compare them to the Rock and Roll Express. Like, hey, this generation's Rock and Roll Express. They get the girls like them, and I actually hate it when Jeff Hardy gets beat up. Basically, Jeff Hardy was Ricky Morton, Matt Hardy was Robert Gibson, but they didn't have to have the yellow tights and the bandanas. They had a different, coat of paint on them, but the same difference almost. Different movesets, of course, but the psychology works the same. Nowadays, who's your Rock and Roll Express? And this is another thing I always harp on. Upper class or white collar, I guess, upper rich people, normal people, rich people, middle class people. That sound better? Um, Whatever year it was, Buddy Rogers, blonde hair, tan, nice physique, cocky as hell. If you ask the Nature Boy Buddy Rogers in character, it's like, how much money you got? Like, I'm so rich. He probably, if he was going to cut a promo that time, he'd probably say, I got so much money, I got to hire somebody to count it. Bruno San Martino, that working class, guy, big guy, ugly dude. But a guy that the working class people can relate to. He was the baby face. Buddy Rogers was the heel. And of course, I think they had one match and that was it. Fast forward, what, 20, 30 years later? Yeah, about 30 years later, about in the 80s, or 20 years later in the 80s, you had Ric Flair, $500 shirt, $1,000, $1,000 suit, $800 pair of shoes. The rows were 10 grand, 5 grand, whatever he claimed. On the other end, you had Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, baby, the son of a plumber. People relate to the Hulk or Dusty Rhodes. Then I did Ric Flair. Put them together, drew money. But so you kind of, I know it's not really have to do with fandom, but you got to understand what kind of storylines would appeal to people. And right now, I mean, the Cody Rhodes thing. Let's go back to that Cody Rhodes thing. So Cody Rhodes, people got emotionally invested in him because Dusty's son, second generation. Man, I'm trying to finish the story. I'm trying to win the championship. My dad cannot win. Even though he tried to win it in his brief time here against superstar Billy Graham, he never was able to get it. Not even when he came back in the Pokey Dots. He couldn't even sniff it. But he didn't say that part. So, and, I left the company that I started just to come here and win that championship. And, that first match, he got a shot, didn't win it, got cheated out of it. And they did the right thing. They, kind of kept them separate for a little bit. Then, it's like, he won his second Royal Rumble, and he pointed up to where Roman Reigns was sitting and pointed right to him. They stuck in this thing with The Rock at that point. I didn't see that behind the scenes documentary, so it was what it was. And fans like, no, we want Cody. We want Cody. We want to see Cody finally win this championship. Finally finish this story. And, he got the match. He won it. And of course, people were going to cheer. People will pop. People were going to be happy for him. That's fandom. Right there. It was a good storyline, and people liked the very end. So, like I said, that obviously Vince Russo does not get fandom at all. Bro. And yes, people I don't know if anybody's having orgasm. It's just S&M. Not no orgasm. Orgasm is whatever. People like that Japanese stuff. I like some of it. I don't follow that as much as I did when I was younger. Yeah. The type of women for, I think you just got trolls on the internet want to say shit. And yes, when trolls on the internet say crap like that, like Rhea Ripley was talking about in her little post, it's best just ignore it. That's what they are. They're trolls seeking attention. Vince Russo, you're just easy to hate. No offense, bro. Gosh, did you, you didn't really see that travel thing in the 90s, because every one of us fans were, they flipped back and forth. record both. Why not record both of them, just rewatch them again, just to see what they missed, flipping back and forth. I did it. How come that wasn't one of your questions? If in the 90s you recorded both Raw and Nitro, and that's yeah, I add to your list. That gives me 4 marks. 4 marks of being a mark, because I did it. And I found out when I know my buddy had a satellite. They got ECW to record it, but it started coming to Georgia 96, 97 on, I think it was Fox Sports South. So it's like at 3 in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning on a Friday or Saturday night. I was usually gone or doing something at that time, so recorded it. Or just getting home and just record it. Do you honestly believe Triple H or Tony Khan are true bookers? Hey, somebody gives them Black Home Book of the Year, sure, why not? I'm not holding my hat on that, but and here, like I said, the book rate and fake wrestling matches. Again, TV shows are fake. Are you going to watch a show that has bad writing and bad acting? Especially the bad acting part. Now, if you see me on my show with my, the charisma of a block wall, trying to act on a TV show, you would not watch that show. And have people who are on that same level, or either that's my same level of acting or below, you're not going to watch that show. So yeah, if they don't have a good, trust me, I've seen bad wrestling shows with not so good wrestling. Where the wrestlers were not that good. So it might not be the only thing that's important to you, but it's got to be somewhat important. Anyway, I missed a big, funny thing. I missed the mark on anything. Did I get everything I needed to get in? Oh yeah, that was the fun part about that too. Is like we record it, we watch it, we talk about it, and how that was one of the questions there, Miss Russo. See, I can put another mark on myself. Okay. Not only did we do that, when we go, even when we watch old stuff, we would analyze it, for what it is. Now I'm not saying we were wrestlers can really dissect it like a Dutch Mantel, Jim Cornette, or Jeff Jarrett, or anybody like that can do it. But we kind of like, do you think it worked better if they did this or that or something like that, and yada yada yada. But not only did we do that, when we went to independent shows in Georgia. Like I said, we went to Cornelia, Georgia for NWA Wildside, and then when it came NWA Anarchy, then got the NWA part. Just called it Anarchy. For a short brief time, they dropped the Anarchy part and called it something else. But this is why wrestling didn't last long. Then I went back to Anarchy. But we would leave shows and be driving home from that. It's probably like it. No matter where I lived. and we'll be like I said, go home and we be dissecting and say, man, be cool if they can do this and be cool if they can do that, or maybe they should do this, or this person needs to turn heel, that person needs to be babyface. Yeah, I think a lot of the people he was kind of going after on that probably were the trolling internet marks, but some of that stuff is like the points I got on there and said my points about it. It kind of shows me that okay, this is why you do not understand. Um, Fandom or fandom art. They're okay. They're comic book marks. Guess what? Uh, Comic Con is the San Diego Comic Con cost a lot of money, or did. Um, Dragon Con in Atlanta. You got a bunch of marks for sci-fi and comic books getting together. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't understand the whole. I mean, I really don't understand the whole wanting one promotion to go down over another one. I don't understand that. I mean, yes, I do make fun of AEW, and I don't touch their storylines, but they've gotten to me to where I don't touch their storylines, or how they push talent and stuff like that. Um, so, but I mean, the wrestling part is good. It has some entertaining matches. The cage match last night between Samoa Joe and John Moxley was pretty good. Pretty good match. Now me, I'm like, why couldn't they put that on a pay per view or something like that? Then I guess they had a shoehorn now. Spoiler alert: there's going to be an Anarchy in an Arena match come Double or Nothing as a result of the aftermath of the cage match. Which so oh, a second. Oh, yeah, I might be able to get Double or Nothing. It's going to be on next Sunday, right? So next Sunday, the 25th, the 26th, Memorial Day, I don't have to go to work, so I might be able to get that. I might have to go get that. Anyway, but yeah, like I said, and I've said on here, I would love AEW to succeed. That gives fans an alternative. It gives another place for stars to go wrestle in. And I think I think WWE's trying to, or TKO, whatever, are trying to do their part. They're like, okay, we're gonna, help AAA out, or we're gonna own a portion of AAA now. Uh, we got our NXT in Florida. We partner with TNA. Now I'm not sure how well this. I mean, they released Indy Hartwell. I think she did explain how she was able to keep her name. But now she's going to TNA, but she was playing talent enough to go to AEW, but I guess she wasn't under anybody's radar. So how things work there, I have no idea. Yeah, it's the day before Memorial Day, so like I said, I might be able to watch Double or Nothing. Yes, sorry folks, I am old, but sometimes I have to, like, especially on Mondays when I'm working out of town, I gotta be up at 3 o'clock and drive for sometimes 4 or 5 hours. And you don't want to drive, 4 or 5 hours and not at least get a little bit of a nap. At least try to, like, 8:30, 9 o'clock. Damn, and I can't barely get a day off. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Anyway, but yeah, like I said, I don't understand that part of it. And like I said, I think maybe I do one of those poll questions. If you're watching this live or watch this on the repeat, put it in chat. Would you want any of these promotions to go down? Would you want any of the big ones? AEW, WWE. Would you really want to see them go out of business if you're a wrestling fan? Yeah, I'll let you know if I do. Yeah, let me know in the comment. You don't have to put which one, or if you want to put which one, put which one. If you don't want to put, which one, if you say yes. But I got a hunch. Now y'all can prove me wrong. But I do have a hunch that real wrestling fans do not want to see neither one of these promotions to go under. I mean, even though WCW wasn't having a good product at the time, I didn't want to see it go under. I definitely didn't want to see ECW go under. And Vince McMahon fought them both. And let's just face it, I mean, if they did have a WCW Nitro or SmackDown, on the, whatever SmackDown was, they changed to WCW SmackDown or WCW Nitro on whatever channel it was on at the time. It's going to have Vince's fingerprints all over it, like it did in the ECW. We seen how that worked out. I mean, at least there was a time to where he kind of didn't have his fingerprints all over NXT. That was Triple H's baby for a while. Then when AEW came out, and let's face it, when AEW is coming on Wednesdays with NXT was what, Adam Cole, Adam Cole, Roger Strong. I think it was Top Stars, Velveteen Dream. Jesus Christ! Did anybody see the little video that Velveteen Dream cut? Sound like one of those Plan B videos. Anyway, I digress. And AEW had Chris Jericho, John Moxley, who everybody knew as Dean Ambrose, Cody Rhodes, people who fans were knew the names at least, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and all that. So basically, you had established names with former WWE talent, beating basically indie darlings and trainees. I mean, I mean, it wasn't like they was beating them that bad, but yeah, they was kind of beating them pretty good. But now, I mean, look at it now. I mean, they're on 2 separate nights, and NXT gets bigger ratings than Dynamite now. But like I said, I wouldn't want to see AEW go out of business. nor TNA, nor WWE. Because like I said, I'm a fan. I mean, like I said, if you're a fan of the 80s, you had all these promotions, especially living in Georgia. I'll digress to this again. We were spoiled. We had territories we can watch. We can, thanks to Joe Pensino and WATL 36. So we were kind of used to variety. So we kind of like variety as far as wrestling. Kind of like we like variety of movies and TV shows. I think that's going to do it for me this evening. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Tune in tomorrow to Wrestling Gold Friday night. We're going to be presenting the UWF episode where all three championships were on the line. No spoilers. Just going to say they were all on the line. But it was a very historic episode of UWF at the time. It's one that was kind of talked about for a long time. A bunch of young folks probably don't remember it, but kids growing up and were adults in the 90s, they remember that. Kind of talked about it. It's like, man, that kind of was a big deal on that program. But anyway, so tune into that and tune into all my other content. Is always available to watch. Appreciate all the people who watch me on Facebook Live and on YouTube. Other than that, you folks have a good one. Take it easy. And until next time.
So long from the peach state of Georgia.
Ronald Ray here saying thank you for checking out my video. If you don't mind, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, leave a comment, and share this video with family and friends. I would also appreciate it if you would subscribe to RP2 Vision, where I cover the sport of professional wrestling from yesterday to today. Now don't forget to click the notification bell as well, so you'll be notified when my other weekly content is available, like Wrestling Trivia Tuesday, WWE Raw Recap, and AEW Dynamite Recap. I also have 2 live streams. Every Thursday at 8 p.m., it's Spot Show Live Stream, where I discuss the latest news in professional wrestling. And on Friday nights at 8 o'clock p.m., it's Wrestling Gold Friday Night, where I discuss the good old days of professional wrestling. When wrestling was wrestling, wrestling